What's up, everybody? Straw Hats Are Cool, back again with another video. Today we are going to be hopping on the sim so that I can showcase the Rob Lucci deck I took to some of the Gen Con events this weekend. So first we're going to talk about the list real quick and then we'll jump into some games with it. So of course this is a Rob Lucci deck. The list I took to these events was what I'm calling the hybrid version of Rob Lucci. So, not running Air Door in this version, and I'm running both the Spandom Searcher and the Brand New Searcher. Um, I think cards that replace themselves are really good right now, especially into decks like Zoro. So, with that, let's get into the list. Of course, we've got our leader, Rob Lucci, just your generic 5,000 power, 5 life leader with the effect once per turn. On your turn, you may discard 2 cards from your hand. When an opponent's character is KO'd, set this leader as active. So, if you've watched my other deck profiles, like I've said before, this is generally a game closing leader effect, not one we're likely to be using more than once per game, but it does come up, and it's a really powerful effect that we can use to close games. We've got 3 copies of Kuzan. Um, I would like to have a 4th copy. Kuzan's been really good, but I want to keep it a 21-21 split between Navy and CP. And this list has felt really good, so I've been more than okay with it at 3 copies. 4 cost 5,000 power on play draw. So again, like I was saying, cards that replace themselves are really good. And then also got the bonus when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 to their cost during this turn. Really good in conjunction with characters like Sakazuki and the Kaku, which we'll get into. So next up, we've got Sakazuki. He's our 6 cost, 7,000 power Navy type character with the on play. We may trash 1 card from our hand to KO up to 1 character with a cost of 5 or less. So only got it at 2 right now, and the reason for that is that in this post restriction format, um, decks are a lot faster, and sometimes we just don't have time to play the Sakazuki. He's really good when he's good, but with how fast and aggressive the meta is right now, uh, we don't want too many. I found that it was clogging my hand, and 2 has felt really good. Next up, we've got Suru. 1 cost, 0 power, 2k counter. On play, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 to their cost during this turn. So Suru, mostly just used as a 2k counter that is of the Navy type, so she's searchable by Branu. But her on play does come up. Sometimes we need to hit a 7 with our Sakazuki or a 5 with our Kaku. So she comes up. She's generally one I try to keep in my hand the longest. So if I've got any of my other 2Ks in my hand, I'll probably use them first, just because sometimes the Suru effect is needed to clear the opponent's board. 4 copies of Borsellino, arguably the best card in the deck. 4 cost, 5,000 power with the 1k counter, is a blocker, and on our opponent's turn, he gets plus 1,000 power and can't be KO'd by effects. So he's just a really annoying blocker for opponents to get around. 6,000 power blockers have always been good, and this one has the added bonus that it can't be KO'd on our opponent's turn. You do need to watch out for cards like Thunderbolt or Jet Pistol out of life, though, as the protection is only on our opponent's turn, so he can get KO'd through trigger effects. Next up, we got 2 copies of Isho, kind of the big boss monster in this deck. 8 cost, 9,000 power. On 1, your turn, all opponents' characters get -2 to their cost. Again, just helps our KO effects hit bigger characters. But the best part of this card, in my opinion, is the on play, which states that if your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, crash 2 cards from your opponent's hand. So this is really good, especially into decks like Newgate, who are going to get to a big hand size really quick, as well as just developing a large body onto the board. So again, only 2 copies, kind of the same reason as Sakazuki. The format's really fast right now, and we don't always have time to play Isho, and we want to make sure we have lots of cards with counter to combat the aggressive format. Next up, we've got Kaku. Kaku is one of the MVPs of the deck again. This one really good into the aggressive decks. 5 cost, 6,000 power with 1k counter. On play, you may return 2 cards with CP in its types from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, and then you get to KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. So the fact that this effect doesn't require you to trash cards from your hand is really what makes the Kaku effect shine, especially in the decks like Zoro and Law, who develop boards really quickly. We do need to be mindful in making sure we're putting CP cards in our trash, but being able to KO those smaller bodies for free, as well as developing a big body, is really powerful. Next up is Khalifa, 4 cost, 4,000 power, 2k counter. On play, draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand, so a little bit of cycle, and then give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 to their cost during this turn. So Khalifa, again, similar to Suru, really just here's a 2k counter. She's the card that if I need to use a 2k counter is probably going to be the one I use first. One, because playing her doesn't come up very often. 4 cost for a 4k body is a little expensive. If I need the -2 utility, I'd rather just play Suru. And she's a CP, so like I said with Kaku, we want to make sure we're putting the CP cards in our trash that we can utilize effects like Kaku. So for that reason, she's usually going to be the one I trash first. But sometimes playing her comes up. Usually it only comes up off of the Blue No effect, which we'll get into shortly. Next up, 3 copies of Kumadori, just a vanilla 4 cost, 6,000 power with 1k counter. Honestly, still one of your best turn 2 plays going second, especially in the decks like Newgate. Just developing a 6k body is really strong. So not much else to say there. Also, really just here as another target for Bluno, but again, we'll get into that shortly. We got Spandum. Like I said, he's our CP searcher for the deck. 1 cost, 2,000 power, and 1k counter. On play, if your leader has CP in its types, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 CP type card other than Spandum and add it to your hand, then trash the rest. So trashing the other cards, again, can be good to fuel your trash for cards like Kaku. But again, like I was saying, this is also a card that can replace itself by searching, as well as developing a small body, which is really good to combat decks like Zoro, who also build really low to the ground bodies that end up attacking for bigger numbers pretty easily. So having something small to swing into those on the crackback is good. Does kind of suck that the black searchers only search 3 cards though. So even with a 21-21 split, they do whiff more than I would like, but we're playing Lucci, we're high rolling a little bit, so is what it is. Next up is Fukuro. Fukuro is an incredible card, very similar to Borsellino, but he's a smaller body, 3 cost, 3,000 power, 1k counter, and is a blocker that cannot be KO'd by effects. Unlike Borsellino, however, this is just an innate effect for Fukuro, so he is safe even from the trigger effects. The KO immunity is on both your turn and your opponent's turn, which is incredible. So, with the exceptions of decks like blue, who can bottom deck, and green, who can rest, this is going to be a blocker who's just going to be getting you a block at some point in the game once he's on the field. Next up, 2 copies of Brand New, another Searcher, 2 cost, 3,000 power, so a little more expensive, but also has the 1k counter. And this is our Navy Searcher with the on play. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and reveal 1 Navy type other than Brand New and add it to your hand. Trash the remaining cards. Same deal as Bandom, a little more expensive, but also a bigger body. And he searches our Navy cards. So really good. Again, cards that replace themselves, really good. And honestly, being able to search the Navy cards is great. And this is the one you don't mind whiffing with as much as Spandam, because even if you whiff with this, at least it means you're putting 3 CP cards in the trash. So, very good card. Next up, Bluno. Bluno, just an incredible card. Doesn't matter what version of Lucci you're playing, Bluno is incredible. 5 cost, 6,000 power with 1k counter. Dawn 1, he becomes a blocker. But um, the best part about this card is the on KO effect, which states that you may play up to 1 character card with a cost of 4 or less with CP in its type from your trash and rest it. So you can bring back something like Kaku or even Fukuro or Spandam. Now, keep in mind it does come rested, so if you play Fukuro, it is rested. You won't be able to block with that turn, but just it's a really annoying body for your opponent to get rid of unless they're a deck like Blue who can bottom deck it, because you're gonna almost always be getting something back out of it. Ideally, you're getting a Kumadori back as just another 6k body that they're gonna have to get through. Sometimes, if it's the end of the game and you leave him up as a blocker, you need to cycle, so you can play something like Khalifa to get some of the dead cards like Sakazuki or Kuzans out of your hand. So, just a really good, really versatile card. Generally speaking, you'll be attacking with him, but he does have the ability to block as well, which is really powerful. Next up is probably my most controversial pick for this deck, and that is 2 copies of the Rob Lucci. 6 cost, 7,000 power. On play, you may return 2 cards with CP in its types to your trash, or from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. And then he gains Rush. So, very simple card. Uh, Seems a little expensive for what it is on paper, but I have found that, especially in matchups like Yellow, this card really shines as it's able to put on pressure the turn it's played, and it's also just a 7k body, which if you're able to establish early is really hard for decks like Yellow to get over. So really been liking Rob Lucci, and that's why I'm running it at 2. We've got Tashigi. She is a 3 cost, 4,000 power, 2k counter. Again, really just another Navy 2k counter, but does have the activate main that you may rest this character to give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 to their cost. Again, really good. She is one that I like to play sometimes, as you can use her effect immediately to help you clear something bigger. And then it is a 4k body, so a lot of times your opponent is going to try to get rid of it. And if they don't, it's something you can easily attack with on the following turn. So, really like Tashigi. Last 2 cards of the deck are 2 copies of Shockwave. Shockwave is our event counter of choice. One of the best event counters in the game, in my opinion. Counter up to one of your leader or characters gains 4,000 power during this battle. Then KO up to one of your opponent's active characters with a cost of 3 or less. So against decks like Zoro or Law that have a lot of bodies that are 3 cost or less, you're going to be able to use this to counter out of an attack and clear one small body. Can be played around because the characters do need to be active in order for you to KO them. But like I was saying, if your opponent's got 2 or more 3 cost or lower characters that are going to be attackers, it's easy to get value out of this. Don't even be afraid if your opponent swings 5k with one of their bodies first to just use this to KO their other character. It's really saving you 2 hits that way, getting you out of 5k, and then removing a body that was able to attack. So, really good card. Um, Also got the trigger KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. Great seeing it in life. The trigger effect does not require the opponent's characters to be active, so you can KO any character with a cost of 4 or less. So that is it for the deck. Um, Let me know what you think. The intro here is getting a little long, but before we jump into the gameplay, as always, I just want to say thank you to everyone who is watching the videos, liking the videos, and subscribing to the channel. And with that, let's get into the games. All right, we've got a game here versus Katakuri. So we get to choose, so we're going to go second. This first opening hand here is interesting, so I think we're going to mulligan that one. This one is a little better. We can play Branu on turn 1. So they're going to be starting with a pudding on turn 1, searching their smoothie. So probably not the best search for them, but that's all right. Gonna be grabbing, only option here is Isho with our Branu, and then we're gonna pass back to our opponent. So opponent swinging 5 here, which means they've probably got the Sparrow in their hand, which is what they want to see. I've not really got any good play into next turn, so I will probably, I think I'm just going to put 2 Dawn on Branu, swing 5k, and then 2 Dawn on my leader and swing 7, probably. So I think, yeah, we'll just put 2 Branu, swing 5, see what they do. They will counter that one, and then we will just swing 7. Then we're going to take that one, no trigger. We'll pass over to our opponent. Next turn, we can Sakazuki, trash one of the Ishos, and KO whatever they play this turn if they play anything good. So we'll see what they do. This is their 5 Dawn turn now, so I expect 1 Dawn on leader. We see that 5 into the Branu. That is fine. We will just let the Branu go. No point in dropping our hand to protect him. Opponent is going to be looking at their own life and moving it to the bottom. And we will take this one. Getting a Rob Lucci, that's pretty good. One of the cards, like I said, I like to see in the yellow matchup. So I think we will attack Sparrow for 5, see what they do. Will they counter out? Yep, they're going to counter with the smoothie they grabbed off the pudding. And then we'll just drop Sakazuki, trash and Isho. Isho looks like he's not going to be getting us any value this game. Our opponent seems to be dropping their hand pretty aggressively here, keeping themselves below 6 cards in hand. So they're going to swing 5 now. I'm going to counter with the Bluno. Don't want to get too low on life yet, but we do want to be at 0 when they're on their 10 mom turn, so they're still a ways from that since we got to go second. Thinking whether or not I want to counter out of this one here. I think I'll counter with Khalifa. And then they'll probably swing with their leader for at least 7. Okay, they've not got any other plays this turn, it looks like, so leaving 1 up, they're going to swing 9, which leads me to believe they probably got another pudding. So we'll take that one. And sure enough, there is pudding. They're going to grab a 2k counter Strusen. So I think now we will attack the Sparrow. I think they've not really got any other great attackers. And then I can go 7 with lead and play Rob Lucci and go 7 with Lucci. And then I've got we'll have 2 7k bodies on my board, and they'll just have the puddings. So going to be countering out of that one too. So no point now in taking playing the Isho. If they'd taken and searched, we would have been able to maybe play the Isho, which could have been good. Strip down their hand, anything good. So I think we'll just do another 7. Probably will let it go. Not going to use my leader effect just yet. Don't think. So now we've got 6 Dawn for the Lucci, and we know we've got some CPs in the trash, so we'll just put back 1 Spandam and Bluno. Just in case we play the Bluno, we have 1 Spandam to get back. And they will take that one. So feeling pretty good right now. My board is a lot better than theirs, and I've got some blockers in my hand for when we get low. So feeling pretty good right now. They are on their 9-Don turn. Looks like they're going to be swinging 8k. So they might have the 7-drop Big Mom. Definitely going to counter out of that one. If I were them, I probably would have just gone for life there. Say, I think they know I had the TCG in hand. So we'll just trash the life there. So they do have one big buddy now. We've got 2 7s, so I'm feeling still pretty good. I think we'll start off with a 7k swing here, see what they do. If they want to give me 2 cards, I'm okay with that. Not feeling too scared right now. Got only one 2k in hand right now, but I've got the blockers, so they are going to counter that one. So, gonna attack another 7, probably let that one go through. Is a Soul Focus, which is a little annoying, but we'll just trash that life. And then I think we'll do 7 and then play the 2 Borsalinos is what we're gonna do. They'll need to get, they got a Brule, which is a little annoying, but they've only got 2 strong attackers here, and so they probably won't be able to go for game this way. I've got 5k encounter in hand, so they would have to swing big multiple times in order for it to go through. Gonna be swinging 6 with the pudding. I think we just counter with the 2k on that one. Still, they could do another 6 with the pudding and then some bigger attacks, but I think here block, have to block. You can't counter out of that one, so we'll just block that one. As long as they can't swing 2 8s, we're fine. And with only 6 Dawn, they would need to put 2 on leader, which only leaves 4 for pudding. So we should be safe from lethal here. And then we should have it on the crackback now. So this should be a wrap. Don't think there's anything they can do now. Could try and go for board. So they are going to go 7. And I think we just counter. We could block that one. Let's block it and make them think they can go for game. That way they don't try and attack my board. They go for my board. I mean, I guess I could still just block it, but we will see now 7k. And we do just counter out. Now, even with the Brule, I still will have 2 cards in my hand going into my turn with the draw. So, should just be able to swing like 9, maybe 11, 9, 9. Don't think there's any way around that. Could have like another Brule in life, I guess. But even so, I should still have 3 9k attacks, so unless they can get around counter out of 1, we should be fine. So we will see what they do. Could just try and swing 7, but if they counter out, could be bad. But we'll see. We'll just put 2 on and go 9 instead. Should be safe. I don't think they have 5k encounter. So it was a Brule, so could be a little sketchy now if they can counter out of this one. So they will. Oh, they did not have it, so they're just giving it to me now. They could have blocked that one, but I would have been able to just counter out with, or just attack again with the leader. So that is a game against Lucci. They've asked for a rematch, and I think this is a good matchup to showcase for this deck, so we'll give it to them. I'm going to choose to go second. And we've got a pretty good hand, in my opinion. We've got some 2Ks, Kuzan, which I really like in this matchup. And then we've got the Sakazuki as removal. Draw blocker is good. No turn 1 plays, but it's not often we have turn 1 plays. So we could have played that on turn 1. Now an Isho. So let's swing 5, and then I think we will just play a Kuzan. Sounds good to me. Just getting the draw is great. Lets me keep my hand size while developing my board. Opponent's got 5 Dawn here, so we'll probably see 1 on leader and probably one of their 4 drops. I'm going to counter out. Don't know that Haku is going to come up. I don't have any CPs in my trash yet, so we'll just let him go. Okay, did not have any good plays for them, unfortunately. So they're going to swing 9. And then they're going to use a Thunderbolt from hand. So that does require them to trash a life. It's a little annoying though, as I do lose one of my attackers. But I think that's fine. I don't think that was a great play from them, but we'll see. Let's just swing 7 at the Parasparrow and then probably play Kuzan again. They don't seem to want to have Kuzan around, so give him another one to get through. Thinking about countering out here. Probably wouldn't here, as it would put them with only 2 cards in hand, so really does limit their future plays and won't give them much defense for following turns, and they're just going to disconnect. So that's the Rob Lucci and the Katakuri matchup. It's one that has been rough, but overall I think with this build it does. So let's get into another game. All right, now we've got a matchup against Doflamingo. They are going to be going first, which is fine by me. I might choose to go first against Doflamingo. They're a deck that really can capitalize on the odd curve, but my curve really is just made for the even one, so probably would have just chosen to go second anyways. I'm going to mulligan that first hand. It was okay, but didn't really have any good turn 2 plays, so this one's a little better. We can play the Kumadori on our second turn, just get a well-statted body on the board. So not going to have any turn 1 plays unless we top deck one of our searchers. We do not, so we're just going to pass back to our opponent. They did get their Perona turn 1, which is annoying, so we're going to be seeing a 7k swing at life. We'll just take that one. No point in giving our hand early, especially for a 7k attack. Draw Kaku, which is okay. We're just going to swing 5 and play the Kumadori. That way we've got our own vanilla we can contest our opponent's board with. So I'm going to counter out there. Found that oftentimes the Doflamingo players like to counter out early, since they are usually just playing cards from the top of their deck. Not going to be seeing them capitalize on their leader effect here, so just a 5k swing. I think I will counter out of this one. I'm not too sure what they're going to do here. Maybe 3000 Worlds on the Kumadori, which would be annoying. So we'll pitch the Bluno. If the Kumadori gets bottom decked, I don't really want to have the Bluno anymore. Gonna swing 7, we'll take, and it is just a Kuma, so that's okay. We're on 6 Dawn now. Fortunately, we don't have any other removal, but we're gonna swing 6 at Moria, see what they do. If they want to keep dropping their hand, that is cool with me. So good. I think we'll go 7 again at the Gecko Moria. See if they give us a 2k and just play the Kuzan. Probably the play here. So we'll swing 7. Do they have the 2k? They're thinking about it. blue is an interesting matchup for Rob Lucci. I found that it is very 50-50 for us. So this is definitely not a favorable matchup, because when they can just keep playing cards from the top, their tempo is just better than ours, and oftentimes we can't keep up. So we will see how this goes. Still haven't attacked their life yet, but my hope is that I can deplete their resources. We've got plenty of blockers, so do I want to go to one? Good counter out of this one. Only got two 2Ks in hand right now though, so we'll just take it. I've got a lot of blockers. A big hand. This turn, I should be able to start clearing their board. Only got 3 cards in hand and they're tapped out, so I'm going to be playing the Doflamingo Searcher to restack the top 5. Also got a Sakazuki now, so I think we will start with 6 at the Moria and see what they do from there. I feel like they can't afford to keep giving us their hand, but if they do, I'm okay with that. So they are going to let it go now. Could leave the Kuzan up. They probably have a Mihawk. So we'll just swing with it. I'm going to give -5 to the Akuma just in case. They're going to let it go. Still no Pacifista. So could play the Sakazuki here. Let's play Spandam, see if we can get a CP in trash. Okay, so now I've got 2 in trash, so we can just use the Kaku to get rid of it. And then we can swing 7. So they could try and just like go for game. If they swing with the Piranha. Gonna be swinging 5, leaving 9 up. This looks like they probably do have the Mihawk. We're gonna counter out of that one for sure. That way they can't clear our whole board. Just give them one of the blockers, put another CP in the trash. And there is the Mihawk. So it's a little annoying. If we were able to keep the Kuzan on board, we could have negged the Mihawk and killed it with the Sakazuki. Unfortunately, they know, so they choose to bottom deck the Kuzan. Do have another Kuzan here, so we could try and play that. Just go maybe 5-6-6 here. Play Kuzan and 2 Fukuros. Could be good here. Your hand is low. We keep countering out, so I think it's okay to swing some 6s here. See what they do. I feel like they need to start taking some of these now. They just keep giving us our hand. They're gonna run out of plays. We'll counter. We're gonna take that one. Let's play Kuzan. Another blocker. Fukuro and Fukuro over Spandam. Should be safe again from them. So feeling pretty okay right now despite the life disadvantage. Maybe swinging 6 probably means they've got another Mihawk, which is a little scary. So the question is, do they bottom the Kuzan again? I think we'll just block this one here. We'll just play another blocker to next turn. So let's see what they do. If they bottom the Kuzan again, which is what I'm expecting, sure enough, we can go 5-7-7 and then play 2 Borsalinos. So that should mean we're safe again. We still got 1 life left, and if we have 3 blockers, we should be okay. So I think we'll do 5 with Lucci, then 1 Don on Kaku and Kumadori, and go 2 7s. And then that should put them low enough. So they're going to take the 5 and probably only counter out a 1 7. So I think 2 7s here is going to be the play. And then, assuming we're able to live another turn, we can go 4 7s if we play the Rush Lucci. 2 on lead, 1 on each Kumadori and Kaku. I think that is what we're gunning for here. So we'll swing 7. Gonna counter 2 and a 1, which should mean this one's going to go through. And then we'll play the 2 blockers. They could have something like 3,000 worlds, but even still, I've got 5k in counter, so I can counter out a 1-9. So I think we brought it back. I don't see how we lose this turn, and unless they play a bunch of blockers, I think we should be good for winning on the next turn. So just gonna go for my board. I'm gonna go more for my board. I'm just gonna counter out of that because with 3 blockers left, there shouldn't be any way I lose if they attack with one of their Mihawks like that. Going to do it again. Just counter out. They've only got 2 attackers left to my 3 blockers. Even if they just keep going for my board, I'm just gonna start blocking, because the 6Ks are better attackers than the blockers. So I'm gonna play a Boa. Okay, they're passing with 4 Dawn open. So if they've got, I've got both my Borsalinas now. So could swing 9. Play this. I don't think I can afford to play the Sakazuki, actually. If I play the Sakazuki, I can't restand. So we'll swing 9. See what they do. Still got 6 Dawn left. They're gonna take. I think it's best to start swinging with the 5s first. Hope that they have to use the Loves if they have them now. I got a Jinbei. So swing 5 again. They're gonna have to block at some point, so I should be fine. So they're gonna block the 5. We're just gonna trash 2 to restand. Now I can go 9-9. If we go 9-9, even if they have the 2 Loves, we should be good. So they got the 1 there. We'll go 9 again. They're gonna have to give us at least 2 cards for that. And then we've got another 9 with our leader. So there shouldn't be any way around this, because I only have 2 cards left. So at the most they could have is 9, which is gonna match my 9. And that is the game. All right, I think those were 2 pretty good games. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I think that's going to wrap things up for this video. Let me know what you think of the sim gameplay, and let me know what deck you want to see next. Like I said in my last video, I'm hoping to start doing one of these every week, so we'll see how things go. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving a like and subscribing to the channel. And with that, I will catch you in the next video. Peace.